All right, hello, welcome back to partial differential equations. Today we will discuss about the Laplace equation. So the Laplace equation is takes in the form of the following. This is the Laplace equation. Laplace equation. While meanwhile, there is also the other variant of the Laplace equation called the Poisson equation. Poisson equation will take the form of this. Uh, let's just say this is space and this is usually only space. Right? So that's the Poisson, and this is the Laplace. The Laplace is usually used in electrostatics. Electrostatics is the study where electricity is, of course, the electricity doesn't move. For instance, when you have a potential field, and so how does the potential field behave at a static electrical particle? That's what we call an electrostatic. In electrostatic, you have learned it in Fisika 2B. It's all about potential energy, and then what else? Uh, Fields. Those are what you learn in electrostatics. The other one is in use in fluid dynamics or fluid mechanics, depending on your view, but it's usually used in fluid dynamics. So the fluid dynamics usually include the Laplacian operator, which is, of course, a method. I'm sorry, the property of a Laplace equation. So usually we'll deal with the Laplacian. So yes, you will use that fluid mechanics. What other thing that you can use? You can also include it in the wave equation when you are dealing with two or more dimensions. For instance, when you have the wave equation like this, and then the dimension are, let's say, alpha uxx plus uxy. So you can actually denote this as the Laplacian operator. So yes, this is the method to solve it is also the same as the Laplace equation. So that's why I will include the wave equation as the final number. So we have solved number one. What is the Laplace equation? Again, I will review it. Generally, the Laplace equation is in the following of this form. It is usually in electrostatics, fluid dynamics, and of course, other partial differential equations such as the wave equation. Can you use it in the heat equation? Yes, of course. The heat equation has also a dimension. It has the second order vertical partial differential equation in space. So that is the Laplacian. So how do we solve the Laplace equation? So first thing first, we have to understand the property of the Laplace equation. The Laplace equation is independent of time unless you are dealing with the wave equation. So usually the Laplace equation is denoted by this form. So usually the boundary condition it has to do the Newman and the Dirichlet boundary condition, but I won't really discuss much of that. Basically, you will have, let's say this is a two-dimensional Laplace equation. So your boundary condition will more or less look like this: zero until I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm right. Zero and y is equals to zero. Let's say u a to y is equals to, let's say, f y, let's say u x0 is equals to 0, and then x, let's say, b is equals to gx, let's say. So it will somewhere look like this. So as you can see, the Laplace equation only has boundary condition. It does not have an initial condition unless you are dealing with a hybrid equation such as the Laplacian in the heat or wave equation. Then of course there will be the what they call the initial condition. So in this case we only have a boundary condition. So how many ways are there to solve the Laplace equation? Well, there are actually many ways. The first one is, of course, the Laplace transform. The Laplace transform can actually solve any PDE um, as long as you know the transform and the correct boundary and or initial condition. The second one is the Fourier transform. We did not learn this, but it is very useful to solve a non-homogeneous equation such as the Poisson equation, which is the variant of the Laplace equation. And then, of course, we can use separation by variable. Keep in mind, this is because the Laplace equation is linear, but keep in mind, not all linear PDEs can be separated by variables, but all separated by variables partial differential equations are all linear equations. So the other one is to use the superposition method, which we will discuss. Superposition method. Are there any more? Yes, there are more. The other one is the green function. The green function. Yes. All right. These are all the possible ways you can solve the Laplace equation. So there are 5 main ways, and yes, can you use the Fourier sine and transform? Yes, it's also possible. So there are 6 ways: Fourier sine and cosine transform, FSC method. So a lot of ways. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to solve the Laplace equation. However, what we are gonna learn is only these two. Yeah, the 3 and the 4, the separation by variable and the superposition method. So let's go. Okay, I will not erase this. So let's copy number, we already solved number 1, so we will copy number 2. Okay, so number 2 is actually what we use is the combination of separation by variable and the superposition method. I know it might look intimidating at first because why are we combining two methods? But keep in mind, the superposition method is actually a gateway to other methods. So it basically separates the equation into two easier partial differential equations. You can solve it for non-homogeneous equations or non-homogeneous boundary condition. That's depending on the question. So find the uxy of the Laplace equation in the rectangle from 0 to a for x and 0 to b for y that satisfies the following boundary condition, which you can read by yourself. And then the hint is actually what we call the superposition method. So the superposition method. Position method. So it is not directly taught about the superposition method, but I think the homework that what we have discussed implies that there is superposition method, so I will teach you superposition method. So again, we have to construct the model equation, which is the Laplace equation, on two dimension. Uyy is equals to 0. Let's write the boundary limit from 0 to a and from 0 to b. Am I correct? Yes, I am correct. Yeah. So now we will write the what you call the boundary condition from 0 to y0 from 0 x 0 is hx. Let's say 0 to ay is fy and uxb is equals to 0. Alright, so we are done with constructing the equation. Now, how do we solve this? So first, since the Laplace equation can be separated by variables, we will do separation by variables. So let uxy be not u, x, y. Now here is the interesting part about the Laplace equation that I will teach you. The Laplace equation can actually be a negative or positive constant, just like any other partial differential equation that can be separated by variables. Previously, if you entered the meeting, I have taught you that the wave and the heat equation, you set the constant as negative m squared or positive m squared. I'm sorry, not positive, or negative m, depending if you want to deal with square root or not. I usually use this so I do not have to deal with square root, but that is up to your preference. So in the Laplace equation, it can be either two. It can be negative m squared or positive m squared, depending on the what you call whether the solution is solvable or not. So it is actually a trial and error. But why does it work? Why does in the heat or wave equation it is generally taken in the this form? In the one-dimensional case, yeah, in the one-dimensional case, it's usually taken in this form. Meanwhile, in the two-dimensional case of the Laplace equation, it can either be negative or positive. This is because the Laplace equation is independent of time. Independent of time. Meaning that it does not necessarily have to decay. The wave equation have to decay because, of course, realistically, waves do decay over time due to, let's say, energy loss or it just converges to a certain point. Let's say in the standing wave. In the standing wave, for the wave equation, the ends must converge. So therefore, it must not be possible for the equation to diverge. Similar to the heat equation must flow from higher temperature to lower temperature. So it must converge. All right. So meanwhile, the wave the Laplace equation it does not have to decay. Actually, it's okay if it does not decay. It can exponentially increase, somehow like that, or it can exponentially decrease, somehow like that. So that is depending on the model, whether the model is solvable or not. So yeah, I will teach you how to do that in a moment of time. So let's separate the variable first. So it will be somehow like this: plus y double prime of y x of x is equals to 0. So divide both sides by fy, so you'll get this form. Now let us try whether it's positive or negative. The For Laplace equation, I usually use the positive first. If it does not work, then it's negative. Okay, let's try positive first. We don't know whether it's positive or negative. Yeah, we must do trial and error. There is no other way because the model itself speaks for itself. It says that well, it does not necessarily be exponentially decreasing. It can be exponentially increasing. So uh, that depends on the boundary condition again. And yeah, so let's try to solve this. We will get. I'm not really gonna discuss much more on the separation by variables, but it basically it will look like this. All right. Uh, yes, it will look like this. Now you have this is a single order or single order not single order second order ordinary differential equation. So you've learned this in your algebra linear algebra and ordinary differential class how to solve this. So I will not discuss this much. You will get this following a cosh. I'm sorry. I will write the cosh later. A e negative. No sorry. Yeah, positive mx ya, positive mx plus b m negative m sorry e negative mx. So you can actually simplify this into the following form. I will use the same constant because I'm too lazy. Yeah, realistically it should be a different constant, but I don't want to spend my constants because I'm whether even though you can use all the entirety of the alphabet and the Greek letters, I'm too lazy to think of the other constant values like such as I don't want to use let's say j as my constant because we will use j for other things. So I will just use a and b again. I'm sorry. It will be cosh mx plus b sin h mx again. Realistically, the constant will change, but I will just keep it the same. So how does it work? Because keep in mind, cosh x is equals to amx plus e minus x divided by 2, while sine h or the hyperbolic sign is emx minus e negative mx divided by 2. So if you, let's say, multiply this by A and multiply this by B and add them all together, you will get the following. AEmx over 2 plus AE negative mx divided by 2 plus B E minus positive mx divided by 2 minus B E negative mx divided by 2. So now you combine the positive and the negative exponential and you'll get A plus B E mx divided by 2 plus A minus B E minus mx divided by 2, right? So actually, now, mm, I'm sorry. You can actually separate this. Not separate this. So as you can see that this is actually in this form. Is in this form, and this form is actually in this form. So actually, it is generally the same thing. It's just that the constant differs. Again, I use the same constant because I don't want to use a lot of alphabets. Because alphabets, it is usually used for other functions too, such as the Bessel function, which is denoted by J. So I do not want to confuse myself, so I'll just use A and B. So that's why it works, all right? I will erase that. So now we will solve the other ordinary differential equation, which you can actually solve it as, let's say, c cos mx plus d sin mx. Now you will combine them all together to get uxy. Uxy is a cos mx plus b sin mx multiplied by c cos mx plus d sin mx. Oops, okay. Now you will plug in the boundary condition. The first one is 0y is equals to 0. So that means you plug all x to 0, which will get that a is equals to 0, which is pretty simple. Just plug it in and you say that a is equal to 0. And now the second boundary condition is actually, let's use the 0 first. Okay, let's use ux0hx. Let's see. But here's the problem, all right? I will show you the problem why the normal method doesn't work. That you have to use superposition method. Let's just try it. Yeah, I will prove that you have to do superposition method. This part is equals to hx. So now you plug in this part, you'll get a cos mx, I'm sorry, mb, I'm sorry, the a is 0. So b sin b x multiply by, since I'm too lazy to write the whole function, I'll just call this psi x. I'm sorry, this is y, not x. This is y. Psi y. Let me fix the part on the top. Yeah. This is not x, this is y. Okay. So as you can see, it does not work, right? You'll get the following what do you call equation. So in generally you will have to find b, right? I'm sorry, you generally have to find, this is not x, this is m, bm, mb, mb. Generally you have to find m, right? Usually m would be n pi over l, but we can't do that because we have to find b given that we have not find m. So what do? We can't actually solve it. Even if you try other boundary condition, which you can try yourself, you'll get stuck. So that means you have to separate the equation into two, which you call the superposition method. All right. I will just create a dotted line here. Now we will have to use the superposition method. Superposition method. The superposition method basically stated that If you have a single equation, let's say like this, you can actually separate it into two, which is just, well, say using the same boundary condition, yeah? 0 y is equals to 0, u a y is equals to hx, ux0 is equals to 0, and uxb is equals to hy. So since this is a non-homogeneous boundary condition, so you can actually make them homogeneous by separating them to two equations. U1x x plus U2xx is equal to 0, which the boundary condition is 0y. UAY is equals to hx, but ux0 is equals to 0 and uxb is equals to 0. So as you can see, you turn the uxb into 0 because you have now a homogeneous boundary condition and a homogeneous equation. So now you'll have the other equation. Plus, I'm sorry, this is supposed to be 1, yeah, not 2. And this is not x, it's y, y. U2y is equals to 0. Again, using the homogeneous boundary condition, ay is equals to 0. So as you can see now, the ay is equals to hx. Now ay is equals to 0. And ux0 is equals to 0. And uxb is equals to hy. Now the question remains, can you actually swap this? Yes, you can swap this if you want. So let's say your u1xx and u1yy with the boundary condition of u2xx plus u2yy, vice versa. You want to switch it, it's fine. You will obtain the same answer. All right. So now let's call this equation 1 and equation 2. Now the solution will be the sum of equation 1 and equation 2. So why does it work? This again goes back to the concept of linearity. It stated that the linear equation of u would have the same solution as the linear combination of the first and second equation. All right, recall your linear algebra that um, the sum of the factor can be separated into two factors, right? And when you sum both of these factors, you'll get this factor, the total sum factor. So that's a great analogy for it. So now we will solve equation 1. I will just copy and paste this. Oh no, I did not mean to do that. Okay, just paste this, erase this, and then I'll erase the one here. And now you have to solve this. So let's again do that. So let's say x, too lazy to write. Let's just do this. Now let's set the constant as positive m squared. So you'll get the following. And we know that from the previous equation, the solution is actually just this thing, right? A cos mx plus b sin mx multiply by cos mx plus b sin mx. All right. So now let's plug in the boundary condition. Why does this disappear? So 0, 0, as you can see, a is 0 at the first boundary condition. And the second boundary condition, we have, this becomes a problem. B sin mx is equals to 0. Now, How do we solve this? We know that b can't be 0 or else everything will be 0. So the only other way is sin mx is equal to 0. But is this possible? So if you look at the function of sin it will be like this. Minus e negative mx divided by 2 is equal to 0. That means e mx is equal to a negative mx, which means that mx, alright, hear me out, this will not be possible because why? Firstly, if you take the ln of both sides, you'll get the following form. Mx is equals to negative mx ln negative a, which means that this is not possible because the ln of negative does not exist. Because you keep in mind the graph of ln only from negative infinity to infinity. There's an asymptote at x is equals to 0. So negative ln just generally does not exist. So that means this equation is not possible to solve for m. I'm sorry, this is a, yeah, not x, yeah. A. So generally, it's just not possible. So that means we have to change the constant from negative to positive, because from positive to negative. Because why? We have proven that if the constant is positive, you'll get that mathematically impossible equation. So you have to change this to negative. So that means the general behavior is decaying. So yeah, it's a trial and error. There's no other way. So be patient. So that means I can just swap this out. This will be cos. Keeps writing this as x. It's supposed to be y. And then this one will be since I just swap this out. So yeah, it's as simple as swapping this out. Now you can solve it now. This will become plus. This will become minus. All right. So now you solve this. From the first boundary condition, we know that a is equal to 0, regardless of the swapping of the terms. So now the second boundary condition is that u0y is equals to hx. I'm sorry, uay, not 0. This is a. Uay is equals to hx. So let's see. Hold on. Since it generally doesn't work, you can swap the boundary conditions. So previously, I have stated that you can switch this, right? You can switch this. So since like what's it called? Um, you say uay is equals to hx, right, from the question, right? If I'm not mistaken. Oh, ux0 ito. Okay, okay. ux0, I mistaken the boundary condition. This is not that. So yeah, it works. Never mind. You don't need to swap it. Ux0 is hx. I keep mistaking the boundary condition because let me check again. I dearly apologize. X0, not AY. Yeah, X0. I see. Okay, okay, never mind. That's my bad. You don't need to swap. So yeah, it's a long process. So be careful of your boundary condition when splitting it on the superposition method, or else you'll do what I do. UAY is equals to FY. UAY. Let's fix the boundary condition. UAY is equals to 0. Yeah. Am I correct? UAY is equals to 0. Oh, FY, sorry, FY. So yeah, this will be ito, and this will be, I keep mistaken, so UXB, that means is 0. Yeah. UXB is 0. Okay. So yes, yes, yes. I dearly apologize. I kept mistaken that. Jadi berarti AY ya. 0Y ya, XY ya. XZ. I already forgot. AY, AY. AY. AY is equals to FY. So yeah, go back to your question if you forgot, because it will be very fatal if you get the boundary condition wrong. So that means I'll just paste this here. My goodness. Okay, I dearly apologize. So here. Now there you go. Now this one's the correct one. So now let's try UAY is equals to 0, okay? UAY is equals to 0. So UAY, so you can see you plug this and you'll get B sine AM is equals to 0. Now you can solve for M. You know that AM is equals to N pi, so M is equals to N pi divided by A. Alright? So you got that right, okay? So now you have to plug it in back to the general solution. UXY is equals to B sine N pi X divided by A multiplied by C cos N pi Y divided by A plus D sine N pi Y divided by A. Okay? Now, we will plug in the other boundary condition, which is U0Y, which is equals to, not 0Y, I'm sorry, X0, yeah. X0 is equals to HX, right? And the other one is UXB is equals to 0. So, let's see which one can we do. I will just combine this equation into one, yeah, so it will be simpler, yeah. UXY is equals to, let's say BN sine N pi X. Oh, this is cos ya, not cos. Bukan itu ya. Dia cos and sin H. Sorry. Sin H. Sin N pi X divided by A. And then it is cos N pi X. Not X. I keep saying X. Okay. N pi A, N pi Y divided by A plus Cn sin N pi X divided by A sin H N pi Y divided by A. Okay, now let's try to plug in the third boundary condition, which is this part. So it will be easier. So plug it in y is equals to 0. So that means this part cancels out, right? This part cancels out. And that means u x0 will lead to only bn sin n pi x divided by a, right? And then this will be equal to hx. Alright? So that means now you can perform the Fourier sine transform. Not transform, sorry, Fourier sine series, right? Hx, so you multiply both sides by sin n pi x divided by a. So it will be bn sine squared n pi x divided by a is equals to hx sin n pi x divided by a. So now you integrate them in from the boundary limit. The boundary limit is from 0 to a for x. So you'll get this. So if you integrate this 1 over 2 cos 2 n pi x divided by a divided by 2. So you get half x minus a over 4 n pi sine n pi x over a from 0 to a. So you can see that the answer is actually only half an a. Alright? So I will erase this. This is half a. Bn is equals to half an a is equals to integral from 0 to a of hx sine n pi x divided by a dx. So you'll get that dn is equals to 2 over a integral from 0 to a hx sine n pi x divided by a dx. Alright, so you got that for dn. Now we plug in the last boundary condition, which is uxb is equal to 0. Alright, so now you'll get dn sine n pi b over a cos, I'm sorry, x stays constant. X stays constant, sorry. Cos n pi b over a minus plus, sorry, cn sine n pi x over a sin ha n pi b over a is equal to 0. So as you can see, we can cancel out this part and that part, which will left us with bn cos n pi b over a is equals to negative cn sine h n pi b over a. So now you have to find cn using algebra. So you'll get n is equals to cotangent of h, cot h, so hyperbolic cotangent of n pi b over a. Don't forget the bn. Since we already got bn, so therefore we already have the c and the b and the general formula. What is the general formula? This is your general formula. So we're done. All right, we all got the constant and we got the what do you call general formula, but we're not done. That's only the first equation, so we are halfway done. The second equation is u2xx. Yes, superposition is quite long, but at least it's not I mean, at least it's tedious, but it's not hard. That's the thing. So you just do the same thing over and over again. Yeah, it gets boring, but it is better than it being hard. So what's the second equation? Second equation is this part. Make sure that the boundary conditions are correct. Okay, it is correct. So I'll be quick with the second one because we've done the first one. So let's do it again. X prime of x is equal to negative y prime divided by y. Let's set assumption positive m squared as usual for Laplace. Well, if you want to use negative, it's also fine. It depends on your luck. To be honest, it's a 50-50% chance that you got it correctly or you got it wrong. Well, we got a bad luck here last time. We got it wrong. So let's try it out. X straight is equal to 0. Y prime plus m squared y is equal to 0. So x will be a cos, I forget the function term, a cos mx plus b sine mx. Let's check the y. It will be c cos mx plus, I do it positive, right? Yeah. D sine mx. So now let's plug in the boundary condition. We combine the equation first. Since this is the same equation as before, plugging in the boundary condition at u0y. I keep writing this as x. I don't know why. I don't know why I keep writing it as x, because I usually deal with one-dimensional space vector. That's why. That's the reason why. So x is equal to 0. Let's say at 0y, a is equal to 0. At u is equal to, let's say, ay. And you'll get we got unlucky again, yeah. Sinha ma, sorry, yeah, ma is equal to 0, which you cannot really solve So that means we got unlucky again. It should have been what? Negative. Yeah, it should have been negative. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we just swap this out again as per last time. Uh, just add hat here. I just add hat here. So again, u0y is equals a is equals to 0. Still the same thing. U a y, you'll get, oh my goodness, this x0, right? Atau ay. Oh wait. Oh no. I think I rewrite the wrong boundary condition again. Didn't I? Let me check. Why there are two ay here? I just realized. Again, I should have fixed the boundary condition prior. Ux0, sorry, ux0. We don't have ux0 is equal to 0. Okay, ux0 uay is equals to fy. Let's check the uy is equals to fy. Can we do it? I think I'll solve the boundary as a boundary condition first, so we can simplify the equation. Okay. Ux0 is equals to 0, right? So ux0. So I think a tip that I will give you is to not mistake your boundary condition, because if you are mistaken the boundary condition, it will be very fatal. Yeah? So like what I did, you have to recheck and it will take a lot of minutes. Okay, yeah, ux0 is equal to 0 because previously ux0 is equals to hx. Now ux0 is equals to 0. Okay, ux0 is equals to 0, so that means c is equals to 0. Yeah, c is equals to 0, which will left us with, I will just call it bn again, bn sin mx sin h my. So let's try to find m using the other boundary conditions. So again, the boundary condition here, uxb. So uxb is equals to 0. So you'll get it's supposed to be the other way around. We already got it correctly. Karena kenapa? You wanna know why? Because sin hb, sin hmy sama dengan 0, which is not possible. So actually, we got it correctly before, but because we put the boundary condition, we got it wrong. Okay, I dearly apologize for that. I just swap this again. Yeah, it's as simple as swapping. See, it doesn't take long to fix it. So any kosh, any sinha, this just become normal. This will become normal. So so that means a is equals to 0, c is equals to 0 still, because just check it by yourself. Because I do it in my mind. So a is equals to 0, c is equals to 0. So that means this is sin ha, this is sin. It's as simple as that. Okay. Oh, so that means sin mb is equals to 0. So so m is equals to n pi divided by b, which means that uxy is equals to bn sine n pi. Is this? Is this? Yeah, sin ha n pi b divided by n pi x divided by b multiplied by sin n pi y divided by b, right? So now we plug in the last boundary condition, which is ux. What is it? uay, yeah? Uay is equals to 0. So bn sin ha n pi a divided by b is equals to sin n pi y divided by y Terus tolak 0 ya. Fy, sorry, Fy. Okay, is equals to Fy. So now you have to multiply both sides by sin as usual. So Bn sin H n pi A divided by B sin squared n pi Y divided by B is equals to Fy sin n pi Y divided by B. So now you integrate from 0 to B the boundary limit for Y, and then you'll get that as this is similar to last time, right? Previously it's A to B. So this is just alpha B, right? Alpha B Bn sin H n pi A over B. So you might be thinking, why don't we integrate the sin H? Because sin H here is a constant already. N pi A divided by B is not a function of Y. It's a constant. So we'll get that is equals to 0 until B of Fy sin and pi Y divided by B dy. So now you'll just find for Bn is equals to 2 over B sin H n pi A over B. Okay? Did I miss anything? I think I don't think. Multiply by the integral of Fy sin n pi Y divided by B dy. So we got the n. Now we have to, we already done, yeah? Because like there's only one, yeah? Got a Cn, yeah? So that is already got the whole equation, yeah? Now all we need to do is to sum them up all together. And then you'll get the equation. I'm not really gonna write the full sum because it will take a long time, but you already got the u1x, y, and u2xy, right? So you just combine them all together, and then you get the full formula, and then you're done. Now, how do we do b? Well, I'm not really gonna do b because you just need to plug in and write the integral, which is not in the PDE curriculum. That's in your Calculus 1 or Calculus 2 curriculum. So for b, I could just skip it, yeah? For b, here, you just plug the function, plug in the function, and then solve the integral. I'm not really gonna do that because that's not in our curriculum. That is in the calculus curriculum. All right. What else? Yeah. Number 2 ya. Let's do number 2. Kali kita bilang just solve the integral. Ya. Solve the integral. Oh wait, that's number 2. Let's do number 3. Ya. Number 3 is a bit complex because we have to do polar transformation. Polar transformation. So, in polar transformation, recall your calculus 3. We have learned this before, but it's been a long time, yeah. So I'll try to check the Laplacian order. And this is only two-dimensional drum, yeah. This is a two-dimensional drum. Well, not a drum sih. Kalau drum itu lebih ke wave equation. A two-dimensional well, ya. Semicircular region. Where is it? Nah, here. The Laplacian, you can also denote it by the following. The delta of u is equals to urr plus 1 over r, ur plus 1 over r squared, u theta. Okay? Now, How do you solve this? So you just need to write this URR plus U set is equals to 0 plus 1R squared is equals to U theta is equals to 0, yeah. So now uh, you just need to separate them by variable RR theta theta. So now you'll get the following: R double prime R plus 1 over R. Oh, I forgot the theta. Theta theta plus 1 over R, R, theta theta, 1 over R squared, uh, R, I forgot here, there's a prime there, theta double prime is equals to 0. Now I will show you a trick to get your chances of choosing the constant. When you're dealing with polar, cylindrical, or spherical coordinates of the Laplacian, you'll always set, regardless of the equation, whether it's heat, whether it's wave, whether it's Laplace, always set the constant to positive m squared, because it has something to do with the equation that it will form, whether it's the vessel or the Cauchy-Euler, depending on the order of the dimension. Is it the second dimension or third dimension? In the second dimension, you'll get what do you call? You'll get the Cauchy-Euler, but in the third dimension, you'll get the Bessel. So yeah, a bit complicated, but it is what it is. Let's do this. Separate them by variable. You'll get the following by dividing them by r theta plus 1 over r divided by r plus 1 over r squared, capital R, no, capital R got cancelled, theta, yeah, theta, double prime theta divided by theta is equals to 0. Now, multiply both all sides by r, so r squared multiply both sides by the small r ya, bukan capital R. Plus 1 over r, the r just becomes r. Plus, this will be, I'll just set it to the right hand side, negative. Theta, double prime, theta. Set it equal to positive m squared, yeah. Always positive. Set it to positive when you're dealing with spherical or polar or even cylindrical. Kalau cylindrical nanti what equation do you got? Yeah, I forgot. I haven't dive deep a lot on the cylindrical part, because usually in application you use spherical or polar. Spherical is for spherical harmonics. Polar is usually for drums or vibrating drums, or um, like here the what do you call the Laplace equation. But for cylindrical, I forgot what equation you will get, but it will still positive m squared. Yeah, I forgot. For cylindrical. Yeah, I only remember for spherical and polar, not cylindrical. So now you set this equals to m squared. Now you get the following form: r plus r single prime r. Am I missing something here? No. Okay. Minus m squared r is equal to 0. So this is what we call the Cauchy-Euler equation. Okay. So to solve this, you have to set r is equals to small r alpha. So if you plug it in here, you'll get the following form: R squared multiplied by alpha, alpha minus 1, R alpha minus 2, R alpha minus 1, R alpha minus. Yap, bener Kak. Ini alpha aja ya, nggak alpha minus 1. Alpha, alpha minus M squared R minus M squared aja ya, karena oh enggak ya, R alpha dia benar. R alpha is equals to 0. You multiply this and then you get the following. Minus alpha minus 1 plus nah ya R squared-nya di sini. R squared-nya harusnya di sini. Plus alpha minus M squared is equals to 0. So you'll get that. Nah, kadang-kadang kan multiply by R alpha, but R alpha is equal to 0. Kan nggak bisa. Class is always exponentially increasing. So the only part that can be 0 is this part. So that means you combine this all together, you get alpha squared minus M squared is equal to 0. So that means you get that alpha is plus minus M. Now keep in mind, M here cannot be 0. Why? If M is equal to 0, your solution will become like this. C2 ln R. That will be our solution. And we don't want that, right? What if it is the same too? What if it's not unique? Let's say, what if M is not unique? Let's say, it's not possible ya. Kalau di sini ya, karena kan ini pasti unik ya. Tapi kalau nggak unik, nanti solusinya gini. R is equals to R, C1, R alpha, ditambah C2, R alpha, ln F. That will be it's not unique. The same. Tapi we're not really gonna discuss that. That's in your own class. So, well, we didn't discuss that. Yeah, you can search it on YouTube. And unique ya, I forgot to. Udah unique sih ini. Kalau udah kayak gini pasti unique. Kan M nggak boleh 0. So that means your solution is R is equals to C1 R alpha plus C2 R negative alpha ya. Okay, good. Now let's solve for the other one, yaitu theta. Ini jelas ya, you can solve it by yourself. You'll get C3 cos M theta plus C4 sin M theta ya. Now you plug in the boundary condition. You combine this first. You combine this first to UR theta is equals to ya tadi ya C1 R alpha ditambah CR alpha multiply by C3 cos M theta ditambah C4 sin M theta ya. Okay? Now you plug in the boundary condition. Usually, the minimum boundary condition for a semicircular Lejeune Laplace equation is actually only one. So if you only have one boundary condition, is it possible to solve? Yes. We have an overkill equation here. We have a 3 boundary condition. So yeah, it is actually easier. UR0 is equals to 0. UR0 is equals to 0. Therefore, C3 is equals to 0. Now, UR pi is equals to 0 too, right? Yes. So you plug it in, you'll get the following. That M cos M pi is equals to, cos sin pi ya, sin pi, karena kan C2 udah 0. So M pi is equals to N pi. So that means M is equals to N. So that means your general solution will become U R theta is equals to, what is it? Where's the equation? Here. C1, I just use ini aja ya, A aja ya, AN R pangkat alpha sin n theta tambah Bn R negatif alpha sin n theta. Okay? So, kasih combine the constant. Now you plug in the final boundary condition, which is a theta is equals to, panjang juga ya, tapi nggak sepanjang yang tadi, is equals to f theta. Okay? Now, you plug this in, you get an alpha sin, and just plug the sin later aja kayak gini aja. Bn a negatif alpha sin and theta is equals to f theta. Now here's the problem. We have two constants and we can't combine this all together into a hyperbolic function, because a hyperbolic function will only work if and only if the term here is actually exponential, or Euler's exponential e. So how do? We have to go back to the boundary. The boundary is from r is equal to 0 to a, and theta from 0 to pi. As you can see, this will be insignificant, because why? This will be equal to 1 a pangkat alpha, right? If a is approaching 0, right? No, well, not insignificant actually. It will actually be too significant, right? They will make the equation divergent, right? We want the equation to be convergent. When a is approaching 0, this will approach infinity as a approaches 0, right? I'm sorry, this is r. Yeah, as, yeah, benar sih, a sih, sorry, not r, a. As a approaches 0, this will become infinity, right? So that means this will make the equation divergent. So therefore, we can cancel it because we want the equation to be convergent. So therefore, we will set the equation to only this: a alpha sin n theta is equals to f theta. So you multiply both sides by sin squared, yeah. A alpha a alpha sin pangkat 2 n theta is equals to f theta sin theta sin n theta. So now, as usual, you integrate it from 0 to a, you integrate it from 0 to a, so you'll get that this is an is equals to 1, it will be 2 over a ya. Ini jadi apa? 1 over 2 minus 1 over 2 n theta sin n theta. Actually 4, pardon myself. This will be n, and n will be 2, this will be half of a. So half an a, so this will be an multiplied by half an a multiplied by alpha ya. Sorry, ini d theta ya, not half of a, pardon, half of pi. Half of pi multiplied by a alpha is equals to kakak sin n pi 0 kan. Integral from 0 to a f theta sin n theta d theta ya. Okay, so now you get an is equals to 2 over pi a alpha integral 0 until a f theta sin n theta d theta, and we're done. That's your an, and our function is this, yeah. U r theta is equals to the sum from n is equals to 1 until infinity, an r alpha sin n theta. Sin n theta. That's your function. Where an is the following function. Okay? The following integral. So we're done with number 3. And number 3, yeah, we're done with number 3. And for this one, as usual, you just plug in the function and solve the integral. Again, this is not in our curriculum. This is in your Calculus 1 or Calculus 2 course. So I will not review that. Now I will consider the Laplacian in the wave equation. Okay? Consider the polar transform wave equation, which will give us the following. So this one will be a bit difficult, but it will be manageable. Okay? Don't worry. It might look intimidating, but it will be manageable. Now, it is already given. This, you might be thinking, where do we use this? So if you play an instrument, if you love to play music, uh, you will of course heard of the instrument called the drum. Yeah, of course, right? So the drum will oscillate back and forth, right? If and only if the drum is actually fixed on a on a circular region. This is where the Laplace equation becomes useful. You model the height, the infinitesimal height of the drum, the arbitrary height, sorry, not infinitesimal, arbitrary height of the drum. So you can actually model the drum, what it looks like. It will actually look like a water droplet. So actually, you can also model a water droplet from this equation. Okay, you can actually do that. So without further ado, let's actually try to solve it. All right. Wait, let me fix my pen first. It tore off. I'll fix it later. Okay, I fixed my pen. Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's go. To do this, this is called a drumhead vibration. Uh, you rewrite the equation utt is equals to c squared. Keep in mind c squared here. C is the speed of light in the physical meaning. Yeah, urr plus 1 over r ur plus 1 over r squared u theta. Okay. Now you separate the term. Now the separation by variable will be a bit different. How? Your separation by variable will be like this. It's in 3 terms, right? When you're separated 3 terms, you have to separate them into only 2 parts, which is u in the function of r theta and t of t. So you'll get apa di sini? U r theta t double prime of t is equals to c squared. URR here will become URR r theta plus 1 over r UR r theta plus 1 over r squared u theta over r theta multiply, don't forget the t over t. So you can both divide both sides by ut. You'll get t over t divided by t over t. I will also transform the alpha to here, yeah. So make the equation easier. I'm sorry, c, not alpha. C. Oh no. C. Lebih rapi. C squared is there. Now this will be URR divided by U plus 1 over R. U, don't forget UR any UR over U plus 1r over squared u theta over u. And set this equals to m squared, yeah, positive m squared. Again, when you're dealing with spherical, polar, or cylindrical, always set the constant to positive. It will increase your luck of getting the right equation. Think of it like a PT in gambling. So, not a good example, but yeah. Uh, you will get this right. T of t is equals to uh, ini jadi apa nih? Minus ya. Minus m squared c squared t of t is equals to 0. Okay. So now all you need to do is to solve this. Okay. If you want to solve this, you can actually what do you call? Just use the ODE. Wait, actually, for this special case, you set it to negative. I just realized kenapa. While it is usually true that you set it positive m squared for spherical and polar, and for cylindrical to positive m squared when you're dealing with what you call spherical usually, ya, untuk dealing with spherical coordinates atau cylindrical atau polar. But since I forgot that this is a wave equation, it is usually better for it to be negative m squared. You might be thinking, why do we need to do that? Tadi kan dibilangnya luck untuk mendapatkan equation benar itu bakal apa namanya? Bakal harus positive m squared. Well, here's the thing. The wave equation has to decay. Okay, it has something to do with the equation property. Okay, so that's why the equation property will come first from your guess. Again, your constant is a guess, and the wave equation is a property. So you have to ngedahuluin property dulu, baru bisa milih constant. So kalau Laplace kan tadi it does not really have a property. It's in respect to space only, right? So untuk mendapatkan decay, time decay, karena kan drum head gak mungkin apa namanya tiba-tiba when you hit the drum it will get higher right over time. No, the drum head will actually get lower until it flattens. So that means there is a time decay. So that's why it has something to do with the physical property. So you have to set it as negative. So ini dapat positive. So you'll get a decaying time ya. T of T is equals to cos MT ya. MCT ditambah B sin MCT. So again, since we're dealing with the wave equation of the Laplacian, we still set it to negative. Again, ini harus pakai feeling sih, and you need basic knowledge of physics. So most of the time you will have to do trial and error, which will take a long time. Tapi if you get familiar with it, you keep exercising, you'll get familiar with it. Okay. So now you use the equation here, URR divided by U plus 1 over R. Kayaknya ada yang kehilangan nggak sih? Ada yang kehilangan nggak? Nggak ada ya? Oke, nggak ada. 1 over R, UR divided by U plus 1 over square, R over squared, U theta theta divided by U is equals to negative M squared, ya kan? Let me check ya, if the equation is correct. So, it's a bit complicated to choose the constant. Jujur, PDE itu paling susah nyari constant karena trial and error. So, should be fine. Let's try ya. Nanti kalau ada yang salah, I'll just change the constant again. So, URR, I'll multiply both side by R squared. Ini R squared, URR plus RUR plus U theta theta sama dengan negative M squared U. Now, U here can be separated into two. Okay? Separated into two, yaitu RR and theta theta. So, ini berarti kan jadi R squared, R, theta, theta, ditambah R, ini jangan lupa prime ya, R prime R, theta, theta, ditambah R, theta, double prime, theta, sama dengan, ini aku tambah aja ya langsung ya, tambah M squared, R, theta, theta, sama dengan 0. Divide two side by R theta, dapat R squared, R double prime of R divided by R, ditambah R dibagi R, ditambah theta double prime, theta, ditambah M squared sama dengan 0. Kalau separate the variables, ini jadi apa nih? R squared, R divided by R, ditambah R, ya lot of R's ya. Plus M squared is equals to negative theta divided by theta. Now, here's the tricky part ya. Do we set the constant to positive or negative? Nah, kan biasanya konstan itu dipilih dari physical property kan, tapi juga bisa dipilih dari mathematical property. So, dari sini kita mau dapetin the Bessel equation ya. Kita mau dapetin Bessel equation. So, you have to familiar with that form, Bessel equation. Therefore, your tunggu deh. Ini tadi ini ada harusnya kalau aku kaliin R squared semuanya, ini juga ada R squared-nya. R squared. Oke, pantasan kok ada yang aneh gitu kan ya. R squared. There you go. Better? Should be correct. Okay, so now you set the constant to either positive or negative. Kita lihat. Oke, R squared. Coba kita asumsi positif dulu ya. Kita asumsi positif M squared. Kan kita spherical. So, maybe we'll get this right. R ditambah R prime ditambah M squared R sama dengan M pangkat 2. Jangan M deh, lambda ya. Lambda aja karena nanti confuse kalau M. Lambda harus ganti konstan. As you can see, ada yang kurang nggak? Aku lupa kalian R di sini. Ini ada kapital R ya berarti di sini, oke? R di sini R, oke? Now yes, sudah benar ya. Dia jadi Bessel ya. Kalau misalnya positif lambda squared ya. Bessel tuh formnya R pangkat 2 X double prime ditambah R X prime ditambah suatu konstanta ya. Sorry, kok R di sini? X. Di sini X. Di sini suatu konstanta ya. Misalnya M squared X pangkat 2 dikurangin lambda squared dikaliin X sama dengan 0. Nah, ini Bessel. Ini suatu persamaan namanya Bessel equation. This is the Bessel equation. Oke? So, now, karena kita dapat Bessel equation, so our constant must be positive. So, again, our prediction is correct ya. Kalau spherical, asumsi dia nggak ikutin property ya, tapi dia ngikutin property matematikal gitu ya. kan ada dua properti ya, properti fisikal sama properti matematikal. Jadi konstanta the separation constant itu pasti ngikutin dua itu. So I will erase this karena this is just the Bessel equation that we already have on the top. So now you'll get the following form. R squared capital R double prime ditambah R prime ditambah M squared R squared dikurangi lambda squared dikaliin R sama dengan 0. So I will not show you how to solve the Bessel equation ya. The Bessel equation is quite a complex equation, penurunan rumusnya panjang sekali. Di ODE itu mungkin 4 halaman ada kali ya. So I'll just show you the solution, general solution of the Bessel equation. The general solution of the Bessel equation is the following ya. Oke. R sama dengan A J N lambda R ditambah B G N lambda R. So Jn ini apa sama lambda ini apa? Y ini apa? So ini ada dua kan? So this is the first kind. Bessel itu ada dua kind ya. First kind and second kind. So yes, ini berarti ordernya order. Oke, ini berarti ordernya itu. Let me check the Bessel equation ini. I kind of forgot the Bessel equation. I haven't reviewed that for a quite time or quite some time. Benar gak equation? Iya benar. Konstanta minus konstanta. Oke, ya, udah benar sekali. It's just that I almost forgot. Ini harusnya dibagi ya karena x-nya ini harus stand alone. Ini kan masih ada apa? Ada m-nya kan. Nah, ini harusnya kalau mau jadi proper Bessel form itu gini. Ditambah R squared minus lambda divided by M squared kali R sama dengan 0. Oke? Nah, the solution of the Bessel, let me check my notes ya sebentar. Karena I put Bessel equation on the notes. Forgive me sebentar ya. It's lagging. Coba let me check ya sebentar. Here it is. Okay. It's lagging. Alright, let me check Google aja ya solutionnya. Cause I kind of forget the solution for the Bessel. And my book is lagging right now. So, sebentar. Ini bisa dilihat di buku Boys di Prima juga ya. Jadi cara ngerjain Bessel equation itu kenapa panjang? You have to use infinite series. Jadi pakai power series. Solusinya itu pakai power series, baru nanti selesai. Kalau itu kan tadi kita nggak pakai series kan, kita cuma pakai kalau Cauchy-Euler cuma pakai R pangkat alpha. Tapi kalau Bessel equation untuk kerjainnya kita pakai power series. Namanya itu, aduh lupa ya nama formnya itu kalau pakai power series itu apa gitu. Adalah nama termnya. Coba cek di buku-buku di Prima. Nanti dapat concurrent equation, dan dari concurrent equation itu baru your solution for the Bessel first kind and second kind. Oke? And also keep in mind ini konstanta ya. This is a constant. Constant. Nah, I'm just searching ini ordernya itu berapa di sini. Oke? Sorry, I dearly apologize. It might take a while. Ini harus ordernya nggak N sih, tapi dia lambda dibagi M harus hebat. I'm checking, agak ragu-ragu ya. Sorry. Ya ini ordernya nih. Berarti ordernya ini lambda dibagi M ya. Oh, your order is lambda dibagi M. So let's call this alpha. Oke? Dan alpha ini kalau bisa alpha ini integer. Jadi kita ada nah itu. Oke? Ya ada sih, nggak harus positif integer sih. Negatif integer juga ada. So biasa lu sebenarnya ada partial kind, first kind, second kind. Nah itu semua tergantung dengan solusinya. Tapi right now just write it as an integer aja ya, asumsi ya. Oke? So now lambda. Nah ini ada masalah nih. First kind sama second kind ini bakal tergantung kepada boundary condition. Oke? At R is equals to 0, kan kita boundary condition ini gini kan, dia drum head, habis itu di sini R is equals to 1, di tengah-tengahnya R is equals to 0. At R is equals to 0, for the second kind, Y alpha 0 itu diverges into infinity, and we can't have, imagine kalau dipukul drumnya langsung infinitely increasing, nggak mungkin kan. So it must have a limit, right? Pas lagi dipukul drum itu pasti ada limitnya. Ada height limit yang nggak mungkin infinity. So that means we can assume that B is equals to 0. Jadi abis ini 0 second kind-nya. So which will result us with the equation apa di sini? RR is equals to A J alpha lambda R. Nah, sekarang kita masukkan boundary condition yang satu lagi ya. Boundary condition yang satu lagi apa? U is equals to 0 when R is equals to 1. Oke? Berarti kan nanti dapat nih, kalau dimasukin jadi A, J alpha, lambda sama dengan 0. Oke? Berarti kan A nggak mungkin 0 dong. So, the only part that is possible is the first kind of the Bessel of lambda is equals to 0. Nah, here's the problem. This cannot be solved analytically. Kenapa? The Bessel function J alpha x gitu ya, J alpha lambda is equals to the sum of from m is equals to 0 to infinity. Jangan m di negatif 1 i per i faktorial i tambah alpha ditambah 1 dikaliin lambda per 2 2i tambah alpha. Nah, ini kan it's an infinite series ya. Infinite series sama dengan 0. So, you can't really solve it analytically. So, you have to solve it numerically. Baru dapat lambdanya ini berapa? Lambda 1 berapa? Lambda 2 berapa? Sampai sampai lambda i berapa? There are infinitely many lambdas ya, sampai infinity ya bahkan. Sampai infinity i such that it's all real numbers ya, all positive integer ya. So cara ngerjainnya dia pakai numerical method. So jadi cara gampang ya, karena kita mau ngerjain analytical, kita asumsi aja. Asumsi bahwasannya lambda sama dengan apa ya, K aja kali ya. KNM. Nah, KNM ini apa? This is your eigenvalue. Kan banyak nih lambdanya nih, ya kan? So that's your eigenvalue. Karena kan we set this equal to 0 ya, similar to how you do your eigenvalue in ALIN. So this is your eigenvalue. So now you can write it ya. U R theta T sama dengan apa? Tadi A dikaliin J alpha KNM ini harusnya bukan N dari alpha karena kan N itu order. Ini enggak sih? K alpha I, sorry. K alpha I. Order A, I-nya ke berapa gitu kan? K A I dikaliin berapa ini tadi? Your theta ya. Ngerjain your theta, tetanya itu tadi this one's easy lah ya. Set it equal to positive lambda. Jadi dia inilah ya. C1 cos. Tadi kan lambdanya ini ya. KAI theta ditambah C2 sin KAI theta. Oke? Nah, sekarang kita ngerjain boundary condition yang kedua ya. Initial condition ini ya. Initial condition, sorry. Initial condition yaitu U R theta 0 U R theta 0 sama dengan 0. So, berarti kan ini kok I forgot kita kaliin bahwasannya kita harus kaliin ini sama D cos. Tadi berapa? Yang time M ya. MCT ditambah E sin MCT. Oke? So now you plug in T is equal to 0, berarti D-nya is equal to 0. Oke? Nah, simple. So berarti you only left us with apa? Oh, nggak bisa di scroll. Oke? Nggak deh, sorry, bukan 0 ya. At itu is equal to 0 dia FR theta, sorry, FR theta, berarti D-nya nggak 0, sorry. U R theta 0 sama dengan FR theta. Berarti kan kita dapat apa di sini? Nah, bilang aja AD itu sama dengan AN ya. AD sama dengan AN, berarti AN dikaliin J alpha lambda alpha I, sorry. Ini apa? Oh, I almost forgot. Ini ada R ya. Ada R ya. Oke. R dikaliin. Nah, untuk simplify the model, ini kita bisa asumsi C1 cos KAI theta ditambah C2 sin KAI theta. Ini bisa aku asumsi bilang aja psi theta, fungsi theta. Oke? Dikaliin psi theta untuk simplify model sama dengan F R theta. Oke? Nah, caranya as usual apa namanya? Bessel ini juga punya orthogonality, kita nggak belajar sih, tapi orthogonality-nya itu dari 0 ke 1 J alpha J bukan R J N gitu ya, JF DR ini sama dengan 0 if N It's not equal to M gitu kalau nggak salah ya. I forgot. Tapi intinya gitu. Oke. So you have to multiply both side by R, J, theta. Oke. Berarti ini dapat apa kalau dikali ini? Jadi AN, R, J alpha, lambda AI, R, V, theta. Ini pangkat 2 sama dengan F, R, theta, R, J, alpha, lambda alpha I, R, dikaliin C, psi ya, psi. Atau V ini. Oh, V, bukan psi. Kalau psi itu kan gini. V uh, di, belum di integran ya. V aja ya berarti ya. Sekarang kita integralin deh. Integralin, tapi integralnya nggak cuma satu, ada dua, double integral. Dari mana aja? Dari boundary limitnya. Boundary limitnya kan berarti ada R. R itu dari 0 ke 1. Tapi I'll just use yang theta dulu ya. Theta itu kan dari 0 ke pi ya. 0 ke pi. Have I stated it? Atau gue lupa nulis di soal. Oh, I forgot to nulis ini. Tetanya harusnya ada nih. Tetanya itu harusnya dari 0 until pi. Dari soalnya. Gue lupa tulis dari refleksnya. Berarti tetanya dari 0 ke pi. Dikali integral dari 0 ke 1 AN R J alpha pangkat 2 lambda AI R dikaliin psi pangkat 2 theta dr d theta sama dengan integral dari 0 ke pi 0 ke 1 R F R theta J alpha lambda AI R psi theta dr d theta. Oke. Nah, berarti dapat dong. Aku bisa asumsi bahwasannya integral integral ini ya. Ini kan bisa dipisah nih integralnya jadi dua ya. Ini kan dia independent of R, ini independent of theta. Berarti integral R J pangkat 2 alpha lambda alpha I R dr ini sama dengan bilang aja N gitu ya. Habis itu NR aja lah ya. Habis itu integral dari 0 ke pi of sigma pangkat 2 theta d theta bilang aja ini beta. Oke, berarti kita bisa bilang bahwa AN sama dengan 1 per N beta N integral, double integral dari 0 ke pi sampai sama 0 ke 1 R F R theta apalagi J alpha lambda alpha I V theta dr d theta itu udah dapat DAN ini bisa di solve kalau ketemu ada fungsinya, tapi kan ini kita nyari general solution for all F sama beta ya. Nah, sekarang kita boundary condition yang satu lagi. Boundary condition yang satu lagi apa? UT GR theta. Oke. Nah, ini kan udah dapat nih AN-nya. Sekarang kita yang apa ini tadi? UT. Ini berarti velocity ya. R theta 0 sama dengan JR theta. Betul? Let me check ya. T-nya 0. Oke. Sekarang kita cari general formula. Ini ya. Mana tuh? This one. Tapi kan tadi teh T-nya 0 ya. T-nya 0. Berarti sama ya. Gini berarti. Tapi kita turunin. Kalau kita turunin, aku in respect to time, emang panjang sih. Ini is insane emang. Eh, kalau kita turunin in respect to time, r theta t gitu ya. Ini ya yang atas sama ya, dikaliin ah m c d iya benar sin mct dikurangin mce cos mct. So if you plug t is equal to 0, dapat ini deh, apa sini, negatif an mc d, I gabung aja ya, nanti ya, mcd kan t nya 0, j alpha k alpha. Tadi aku tulis lambda ini ya. Ini harusnya K nih, bukan lambda. Sorry, K. Suka ketukar konstan nih. Kalau konstan udah terlalu banyak emang pusing. Ini K. Oke. K. Ada di sini K. Oke. Nah, bukan lambda. K, A, I, T gitu ya. Enggak T dong. R. R dikaliin psi theta, V theta. Udah dikaliin ini. Cos MCT-nya kan kalau T-nya 0 dia 0, 1. Nah, sekarang kita set equal to J R theta, sama ya kayak tadi ya. Berarti ini kan jadi apa? Asumsi aja. Ini kan AN udah dapat ya tadi ya. Kita mau cari D-nya. Oke. Sorry. D sama kayak tadi ya, kita kaliin J alpha sama C. Dapat ini berarti negatif AN M C D J alpha kuadrat K alpha I R psi pangkat 2 theta, ini bukan T ya, theta, sama dengan J R theta J alpha K alpha I psi theta. So you integrated both side, dikali R R. So you integrate both side, dapat apa? Negatif AN MCD. Ini sama ya integralnya ya tadi ya, N sama beta ya, N beta sama dengan integral dari 0 ke pi 0 ke 1 R G R T J alpha K alpha I, jangan lupa R-nya, pi theta D theta dr D theta. Jadi sekarang D sama dengan negatif 1 per AN M C N beta integral 0 ke pi 0 ke 1 R G R theta J alpha K alpha I R V theta dr D theta. Udah dapat D-nya. Beres. Selesai semua ya. Nah, kalau misalnya mau tanya si konstanta tetanya gimana? Kan theta itu masih ada C1 sama C2 ya. Nah, ini perlu lagi boundary condition emang banyak sih. Kalau kayak di drum head tuh boundary conditionnya bakal banyak. So, that's why ini kan cuma simplified model kan. So, makanya ini antara bisa disimplify jadi cos. Tadi apa sih? K alpha I theta minus psi gitu ya. Minus psi, di mana psi ini itu akar A pangkat 2 kurang B pangkat 2 gitu ya. Bisa di-proof sendiri. Dan atau enggak kita punya banyak boundary condition. Oke. So, tapi kan kita cuma simplify model ya, boundary condition cuma segitu. So, that's why kita cuma dapetnya segitu. Nah, ini I just want to show you something. Mana tadi? Ini ada Helmholtz formulation karena mirip-mirip sih. Tapi kalau Helmholtz formulation biasanya di 3 dimensi. Nah, ini kan kita cuman apa? 2-dimensional drum head ya. Dimensinya cuma 2. So, imagine 3-dimensional drum head itu kayak gimana? Kalau 3-dimensional drum head, ya you can see in my book ya, yang tentang plasmatic wave equation. Nah, itu 3 dimensi itu. Itu panjang sekali sih emang. Tapi itu baru pakai nanti Helmholtz equation. Kalau ini kan cuma 2 dimensi drum head. Oke? Kalau 3 dimensi nanti ya pakai spherical coordinate. Antara pakai spherical atau cylindrical. Tapi kalau cylindrical itu kan biasanya dipakai untuk jet propulsion. Kalau Z ada Z-nya gitu loh, Z-nya ada Z-nya. Tapi kan kita Z-nya varies kan. Nah, jadi lebih baik pakai spherical coordinates. Nah, jadi ya inilah ini Laplacian di dalam wave equation. Dapat kayak gini ya, emang panjang sih integral bahkan sampai 2 kali. But that's all ya. Ada soal. So, yeah, I will send the video nanti in the G Drive atau YouTube so you can watch them by yourself. See you later. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.